All right, y'all, we got Cajun rice and gravy. We went with pork this time with a Boston butt stuffed with jalapenos and garlic. It's the best you'll ever eat. Make it, and I promise you, your friends will be talking about it for a long time. We're gonna take a taste. Now, I did this video and it's pretty long, but I did a time chart at the bottom. So if you want to skip some of it that you already know how to do, just skip it and you can go on to the next part. It'll make it shorter for you. But let's give it a taste. Ça c'est bon, ouais. Woo! Bonjour, mes amis. We're gonna cook a Boston butt rice and gravy, and I'm gonna show you how we do it. You're gonna need some jalapenos. We're gonna stuff this thing with jalapenos everywhere we can find a spot. We're gonna stuff it with 2 cloves of garlic everywhere we find a spot. We're gonna use an onion, a bell pepper, and some onion tops for our gravy. Got salt, pepper, and garlic. 50% black pepper, 40% salt, and about 30% garlic. A Cajun seasoning. Use the one that you like best. We like Cape Red. And some Worcestershire sauce. Now, I got this Boston butt at Costco's and they took the bone out and just butchered this thing up. I mean, we can do better than that. What I'm going to do, you want to leave the bone in it. It helps with the flavor of the meat. I'd rather pay the extra money for the weight of the bone to cook with it than have it boneless. We're going to go ahead and start punching holes in it everywhere you can. And we're going to put a piece of garlic and a jalapeno in it. Now this dish goes back many years in our family, and it is the most amazing tasting rice and gravy you'll ever cook. You're gonna have to trust me on this. You're gonna have to cook this one. Just cook it just the way I'm doing it, and I promise you, you're gonna impress your friends. For some reason, you can't put too much jalapeno or garlic in it. It doesn't make it spicy. It gives it this amazing flavor. And the garlic just goes with pork. Unbelievable. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and get my garlic peeled up and get these in a bowl to show you how I stuff them. So y'all hang tight. All right, I got my garlic ready and my jalapenos. We're going to start stuffing each one in a spot that we opened up on this Boston butt. I just stuff it everywhere you can. It's a lot of jalapeno. Look at that. So good. I'm going to open it up a little bit wider. I know y'all thinking, God, that's a lot of garlic. Gonna overpower it. Trust me, it doesn't. And the jalapeno will not make it peppered. It gives it this amazing flavor. Try to get in there past the surface so it doesn't pop out while you're cooking. And eventually, inside the pot, this is going to all fall apart. after it's cooked long enough, and that'll all go into the gravy. Then we're going to turn it around and do the other side. If the bone was still in it, you'd want to do it around the bone big time. Turn it over and do the other side. Cajun rice and gravy, y'all. So good. Got 2 more left. Where can I put them? I don't have anything right there, I see. All right, so we have it stuffed. I turned on my black iron pot and started heating it up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to season the outside. We're going to cover it with Worcestershire sauce. Rub that in. We're going to hit it with our black pepper, garlic, and salt mixture. It's a big piece of meat, so you can hold a lot of seasoning. Get your sides, because we're going to brown each side on this thing. Alright, hit it with your Cajun seasoning. Now remember how much seasoning you're putting on here. You don't want to keep on hitting it with seasoning while it's cooking. That one popped out. Pop that back in. Hit this side with your Worcestershire sauce. It's going to help with browning, and it's going to help with making a pretty gravy. And you can remember I did all the sides already, so it's good. So now, the pot's heating up. When it gets good and hot, I'm going to throw this in there and we're going to start browning. Stick with me, you're going to want to see this. Alright, now that we have it, the pot heated up, we have a little bit of oil at the bottom, as you can see. We're going to put this in there and start browning it. Now the trick to a good gravy is browning your meat. When you think you have it browned enough, keep browning it. I'm going to show you what it's supposed to look like. Alright, I see those guys on these videos and they do ha! And usually cuts it up. Let me try it again. Ha! Nothing. What if I do? My God, it done. I wasn't holding my mouth right, but it worked. I didn't know that. Alright, so it's been browning for about 15 minutes. Let's take a look. I'm gonna let it go a little bit longer on that side. Boy, if y'all could smell that. Woo! It smells good, yeah. Let's go ahead and turn it. Oh yeah, that's what I like to see right there. Now, it's okay that some of those garlics have fallen out. The meat's shrinking and it's moving and stretching, and some of it's going to work its way out, but that's okay. It's going in the gravy. We're going to let it brown some more. We're going to turn it on its sides, on the top and the bottom. We're going to get it good and brown before we start putting our vegetables in there. The trick to a good gravy is be patient. This is where the hard work comes of being patient, making sure you have everything brown in it. I just keep moving it around. Now, where it was opened up, where they cut it up, so I turn that and I'm starting to brown the inside of that. Then I'm going to start burning some more of the sides. I've already turned it on the sides. Just don't rush this part, because if you look at the bottom of that pot, that's the goodness. That's the grillage down there. That's just going to make a beautiful, beautiful gravy. Don't worry about overcooking this meat. I mean, it looks burnt. You can see those spots, but once I put the gravy in there and I start moving it around inside of that boiling hot water, a lot of that stuff's going to come off and it's going to thicken up the gravy. But you want this piece of meat to fall apart with the fork as you go when you're eating. So this is all part of the process. You can't overcook. I can't express this enough. You cannot overcook it at this point. So just keep going. Get this thing good and brown to where you have all that goodness on the bottom of your pot. You can cook this on a Magnolite pot. I've done it many times. I just like doing it in this black iron pot. But I just keep turning it. See this side right here, I need to get it a little bit more on, so I'm going to put it over there. And then I have a little bit of beef stock, and when it starts looking a little dry on the bottom, I'll just put a little water in there, or a little beef stock, and it kind of works its way through the pot and you can hear it sizzling a little bit more. If I don't have beef stock, I use water. I just happen to have some beef stock today. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull it now. It's good and brown. You can see that. You can see the difference on what it was. And I'm going to go ahead and get my vegetables in here. The onion and the bell pepper only. I'm going to save the green onion top for later. If some of it goes in there, it's okay. Now, we use a flat spoon where we can start scraping the bottom of the pot. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of Cajun seasoning. I'm not going to go crazy right now, because you saw the seasoning I put on the outside of it, and that's all still in there. And I'm not looking for it to be peppered hot. I'm looking for it to be full of flavor. Scrape all that stuff off the bottom. That's why a flat spoon at the tip. Some Cajun came up with that. Genius. I didn't have this when I was younger. Ooh, that smells good, boy. Choke. It'll be so good. Growing up as a young man in Cajun country, both of my parents were Cajun. They both spoke French most of their life and at home all the time. And they would speak French mostly when they were talking about you. So when I started learning how to understand French, I wouldn't tell them. I wanted to see what they were saying about me. That's true. And I guarantee you a lot of kids like me were like that. We always had rice and gravy, and it could be with chicken, pork, beef, dove, ducks, squirrel, any kind of protein they would use. It's just amazing Cajun dish. When I think of Cajun food, traditional Cajun food, I think of rice and gravy. I know a lot of people think of crawfish and shrimp stew and all the seafood. But traditional Cajun food was just a lot of people that grew up on small cattle farms or ranches and grew their own vegetables and raised their own protein, their own cows, pigs. We had cows, pigs, all of this cool stuff over here. And Mama would do all the cooking. Daddy did all the working. And Mama worked inside, raising me and cooking. And she was a seamstress also. So I learned how to cook from her. And thank God she taught me how to cook, and I have that gift. Because being able to cook a good traditional Cajun meal like this will satisfy your friends. Try it. I promise you, they'll be talking about it for a while. My vegetables are getting soft right now. I'm going to let it go till it's translucent. Then I'm going to put everything back in the pot. And I'm going to fill it up with some beef stock that I had. You can use water, you can use chicken stock, but the secret to the gravy is what was on the bottom. You saw that stuff that we were scraping up. That's the secret. Brown your meat, be patient, and it'll come out amazing. Alright, you can see this looks good. This is all good on the bottom. It's getting a little sticky because I was talking instead of watching this, but that's okay. What's cool about cooking it this way, you can't mess it up. So I'm going to put some beef stock in here to kind of stop the cooking process on my vegetables. I get the bottom. Look at that. It already got a pretty gravy, and it's not thickened. You're going to have to thicken it, and it's going to look good. And I'll show you how to thicken it, or the way I do. Y'all hang in there. Let's go. Alright, so I have my meat in there. I put some more of the beef stock in there, and I'm going to bring it to a boil right here. And then I'm going to put a lid on it, bring it on to a hard simmer. And I can do that with this cast iron pot and it not spew over, because you don't want it spewing over. But by doing that, it's going to tenderize that meat until it falls apart. And all of the goodness and all of the seasoning are going to bind together and come out amazing. And then once I get this cooked down and get it falling apart, I'll taste it again to see if I need more seasoning or not. Alright, as you can see, I got it at a rolling boil. We're going to use that piece of meat and we're going to mop the bottom. Kind of just drag it along the bottom and get the rest of that stuff off if there's anything left. You can see how that some of that burnt stuff is coming off. That's what's going to happen as it goes. You can see how pretty that gravy is, but it's very thin, so it's going to thicken up as we cook. So just keep on like that. Put a lid on it now that it was at a rolling boil. And put it on a high simmer. It'll probably go for about an hour before I check it. Alright, let's check it. It's been a couple of hours. It's been cooking. I opened it up and I stirred it once already. Oh yeah. You can see it's starting to want to come apart. See, look at that. Just make sure it's not sticking on the bottom. But that gravy is really starting to look good. Turn it over. You can see the meat's, all the black on that meat is gone. That's what I'll do as I go. Because I want somebody to grab it just like that, where they have, you know, a piece of meat in their gravy. There we go. I'm going to put it on really, really low because I have my son and his girlfriend coming over later on. I want to slow cook it now so that it stays hot when they get here. Stick with me. We're going to taste this after a while. Alright, it's been going for 3 hours and I've been checking it and stirring it and pulling it apart. And you can see that the meat is just all come apart. That's what we were looking for. You can see that gravy's nice now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it off, keep a lid on it. I'm going to put our green onions in here. Stir that around, let that flavor mix. And I tasted it and it's perfectly seasoned for us. It's amazing. It tastes great. But that's what it looks like. We'll taste it in a little bit when I get the rice cooked. Y'all hang in there. Alright, let's fix a plate. You see what it looks like right here. Look how pretty that gravy is, y'all. Oh yeah. Look at that. That's how you do it. Get some of that gravy on there. And a little chunk of meat. Look at that. Put that lid on top. Take a taste. Ça c'est bon. This is so good, y'all. The garlic flavor. The jalapenos does not make it peppered. It just gives it so much flavor. Y'all give this a try. Again, thank y'all for watching. We appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed day.